Hi, welcome back. This is Nick from No Regrets, and I've got my mate Ken Druce, and we're going to do another video here about how to get better consistency in your golf game. If there's one thing that a golfer would love to have, and especially professional golfers like Ken, is to have awesome consistency from the first hole to the last hole, not sort of having fluctuations in the game where you lose it. All right, now, one of the key factors you need to have for this is great postural endurance. Loss of endurance in the postural muscles will greatly affect the game, whether you're putting, chipping, driving. Or, if those muscles start to fatigue, it starts to hinder everything from the backswing to all the little finer movements and details within the golf game. So what's some of the things that you would have experienced in your days, Ken?
Well, postural endurance is very important. You're out there for generally 4.5 hours and you're over the ball for around 8 to 9 minutes in a specific setup. So if your muscles are fatiguing and your postural muscles are fatiguing especially, you'll swing the club in a different way nearly every time, especially late in the round, and the path and the plane changes, and that dramatically affects the consistency of the strike of the ball.
Okay, so what we're going to do with Ken is we're going to show you a simple test, and this is part of our golf performance program, of where we're going to time him, how long it takes him to address the ball. This is like in amateur players, they take quite a long time to sort of set themselves up. The professionals like Ken here are actually quite quick, meaning they actually don't need to last as long as the amateurs. So amateur players need a lot more conditioning than the pros for that reason. So I'm going to show you the test, and I'm going to show you the exercise that we use, or 2 exercises that we use to help improve Ken's endurance to be consistent throughout the whole 18 holes. Alright, so first thing we've got to do, we've got to time him to see how long it takes him to address the ball. Alright, so Ken walks up. Once he addresses the ball, we time him. He tells us when he's ready. Okay, so I clocked that at 8 seconds. Alright, so how many shots roughly are you playing these days, Ken?
70 to 75.
Alright, so let's say for the sake of counting it's 70, alright? And he's probably being pretty humble here, I reckon he's better than that. But alright, so 70 shots times 8 seconds gives us 350 seconds, no, 560 seconds, so around about 9.5 minutes. Alright, so that means, what that means is that Ken's postural system needs to have 9.5 minutes of endurance, conditioning, strength. Otherwise, he risks falling into fatigue in the latest parts of the game, that then he starts to fall away from playing as consistently throughout the whole event. Alright, so this is where we're going to show you a couple of exercises, and they're a little bit intricate, and Ken's one's a little beauty, so that'll be the second one. So again, there's a whole heap of exercises, more than really just 2, but just for the sake of the video, I'll give you the idea of how you do it and how you structure your program. Alright, so we're going to give Ken a dumbbell. He's going to go into his bent over position, a little bit more of a gym conditioning. He's very much in his address position. It's what we call a bent over row. So Ken's going to pull the dumbbell up into his side here. And we've deliberately got one arm working because we want to stress the nervous system with a neurological demand. When it's got 2 things working, it's a hell of a lot easier for his nervous system to coordinate. All right, so if we get a picture of the Ken's posture here from the side, you'll see his head's forward of the stick, so we need to bring his chin back and line him up in perfect alignment. Perfect alignment would be me having my fingers in between his lower back here. With that beautiful spinal curvature. And Ken's done probably close to about 13 or 14 of these now, but it's more in terms of time. He's been lasting about 30 seconds, so we're getting to switch hands. Alright, so by the time he's done this set on both hands, he would have held this position for a good, probably 1.5 minutes. Alright, so meaning that we need to get him to 9.5 minutes. So if we were only to use this exercise, we'd have about another 7 sets to go. Alright, 6 or 7 sets that we'd need to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to break it up with another exercise that puts him in a similar position but doing a different movement. But again, it's going to still require his system to still work for a long time. Alright, so Ken's going to show you now a different exercise using a little TheraBand. These TheraBands are very cheap. can get them from many retailers. Yeah, little micro bands we call them. And these are awesome for glute activation. So this is where we're going to try and tie in other muscles around the posture that Ken's trying to get into, so that we get more things on the go that sort of get trained to last longer. All right, so I'm going to get Ken to walk through this one.
So get your mini band, just put it above your knees. There. We're going to take a little, start with your feet together, take a little squat, bend over with your arms raised up. Just keep your back nice and straight. We'll go both ways.
Okay, so there's an excellent exercise where we're getting Ken to sort of like walk into a squat, and using this as he's getting in that bent position again, but we've got more of a leg movement happening. And Ken's, at times he's used this to put the band around someone when they're just holding that postural position so that they can keep the glutes on the go. So this is another excellent way to sort of like incorporate lots of different functions. So we could go, say, a minute of that exercise, a minute of this one, and do them about 4 times. That would give us a total of 10 minutes or 8 minutes. And then we get him back into his postural position of his golf swing or his address position, and that gets us another minute. All right? Then we'd have 9 minutes of training that we're preparing for his event.
So that really activated my core and my glutes.
Yeah.
Which is postural endurance.
Yeah.
All up.
Perfect. Let's have a look at Ken having a whack of the ball to see how much improvement this will make to him. Just for the fact that we want to see him whack the ball again. It's always impressive to watch. Beautiful. All right, so thanks for tuning in. You want more information, go to www.noregretspt.com.au or get in touch with myself, and if you're in Sydney, and I can get in touch with Ken, and we'll get some stuff out to you and help you with your golf game.